All right, we are back. Pac-12 Women's Basketball Media Day. Tina Langley, the head coach of the Washington Huskies, back for year 3 on Montlake. Some big news around your athletic department. We'll get to that in just a minute. But first things first for you, I think about last season and the step you took from year 1 to year 2. You increased your win total by 12 wins. You upset Stanford. You go deep in the WNIT. What did last year's experience and that step you took, how can you bring that momentum forward and propel you into year 3, Tina?
Oh gosh, well I think just thinking about that year brings back so many great memories of just being present with the young women each day, and grateful for each young woman that was on that team and how we came together. So we'll be just trying to do the same thing, continue to learn one another, and just appreciate each day that we have together to learn and grow and continue to get better.
Tina, I think when I'm around you, the commitment to academics and basketball just comes ringing through. But to learn that you guys are the only Power 5 program to be the WBCA Academic Honor Roll with a 3.6 overall GPA is astounding. Mm-hmm. How do you do that?
Well, our young women and the support that we have throughout our academic departments. And so it's an incredible university. The commitment to our student athletes is tremendous, and their work ethic. You know, the young people who choose Washington know they're committing to excellence in the classroom and on the court.
All right, we are going to open it up to questions from the media. If you have a question, please raise your hand and we will bring you a microphone.
Michelle on the right.
Thank you. Hi, Tina. Michelle Smith from The Next. We know it was the case with Arizona a few years ago that NIT experience was kind of a catapult. I think UCLA had a similar experience a couple years before that. How do you view the NIT experience and what carries forward to this year?
Well, we're obviously incredibly grateful for the experience because it had been a few years since we'd been in postseason at Washington, and so to return to postseason and remember what it feels like to survive in advance and continue to fight through that time of the season is important. We also just have lessons in playing the game. We get to continue to play against different programs and grow our skill sets individually and collectively.
But Tina, it was really more than that because you hosted 4 home games and it felt like the whole energy in your program transformed over those weeks where Seattle got behind you guys again, and it was palpable that things had changed and how positive that is.
Thank you for saying that because it's an opportunity for us to really celebrate our fans. Our community showed up just in incredible ways, and to support those young women the way that they did was beautiful. And so it gave us a confidence that we needed. There's been so many games, if you look back through that season, where we were right there as well. And so I think toward the end of the season, you saw a team that continued to learn to win and believe in themselves and each other.
I know you worked on putting in a new offense last year, and it took some time for things to come together, and then it started to. How does it feel to be a year into that process, and how do you feel about the offensive pieces you have with this group?
Well, that's making me laugh a little bit because, sorry. Well, we're working on that again. We're putting in some more offense. So they do a tremendous job. Again, we'll go back to academics. We can do whatever we like because they are brilliant. But they're doing a wonderful job as we continue to add student athletes to our program and develop the student athletes that we have. We feel like we can play a really fun style of play, a very dynamic, up-tempo style of play. So it's been still a learning process. But we're keeping some of the old as well, so that's been familiar.
I know the win over Stanford was already brought up, but I know that was just like a seismic bomb throughout the conference and around the country that Washington beat Stanford. But the people I talked to said they could feel it coming, that you guys were stepping up and playing better and better. What came together in that moment in that game that you saw on the floor?
Well, first of all, isn't that the great respect for Stanford? You know, it's an incredible program. The history is tremendous. Tara is amazing. And so, you know, it is difficult to beat them. And so proud of our young women of how we began to be process-focused and really take one day at a time. In practice, you could see every possession was about the possession. And I will say in that game, I did not feel a time in the game where we were thinking we might beat Stanford. It felt like, what play are we running next? You know, and what are we doing this next possession? And so that's the way we want to play the game. And of course, it was a beautiful thing to see celebrate. So.
Tina, I mentioned it off the top, but you have a new boss in Seattle and
Yes.
a new athletic director just introduced, I think, a couple of hours ago, and Troy Dannon. He comes from Tulane. I know you were involved in the process and have gotten to know him a little bit. What can you tell us about the new athletic director at Washington?
I got a chance to be introduced to him. He seems incredibly passionate. I got an opportunity to see a little bit of his press conference as I was waiting just now, and I loved one of the things that he said is, we're going to be a university who does all these amazing things, but we do them with integrity. And that's the University of Washington. We are values-based. We are a university that strives to be one of integrity and hard work and excellence. And so I'm very excited to take this next step with him.
I know one of the things that I talked to Elise Woodward, one of our colleagues, about, because she does a lot of your games, is just she's impressed day in and day out about your prep and how you think out of the box. How are we going to beat this team? There's not a formula. It's let's get specific and get down to it. What goes into your game planning that elicits those kind of results?
I just think we have an incredible staff. This isn't a one-person decision ever. We get in a room and decide what is the best for each program that we go against, and each night is a monumental challenge. It's a great conference, and so you treat every opponent and prepare for every opponent the same. And I think you just get into that mindset of, okay, these are the things that we have that are strengths, and these are the things they have that are strengths, and so how do we take our best advantage in that game?
We're going to go to Michelle here on the right.
Tina, you guys played such good defense last year. There are a lot of teams in this conference that can put up very big numbers on the offensive end. What are you guys doing? You said you're still putting in new offense. What are the upgrades you hope to see on the offensive end from your team?
The offensive end? Yes. You just want to play a little bit faster. We didn't shoot the ball incredibly well from the three last year, and I think that causes us to need to slow the game down a little bit at times and play a more efficient style. And so there's a style, I think, that really fits who we're becoming. We're becoming more positionless. We're becoming more skilled and a little bit more consistent from the three. And so, we want to get up and down the floor and play a dynamic style. It should be fun.
4 great freshmen come in, and just tell us about what you expect from them and what kind of contribution you will get.
Yeah, so, one of the values we have in our program is servant leadership, and so we believe everyone can come in and we can all make an impact if we have an equal platform to do so, and so everybody's opinion matters. We work the same. And I say the same thing from basketball. When you step on the floor, we all have the same things that we have to accomplish, and I think they've done an incredible job of coming in and working very hard to learn the system, to learn each other, but really the neat thing is how they have given to other people as well, and just flowed right into the culture of the program. And I think that's been really neat to see, because that's hard to do as a freshman, because you need a lot as a freshman. We do. We just don't know a lot of what's in front of us. But they have really, arms wide open, come in, and while they've had to receive, they've also given a lot.
We're going to go to Cindy in the right.
Cindy Brunson, Pac-12 Networks. Hi, Tina, how are you?
Hi.
All right, this is the last go-around with the Apple Cup. And this time, Wazoo is the defending champion of the Pac-12 tournament. So a little more juice on the table. What does that matchup mean to you this season?
Well, rivalries are so special. The history is beautiful. I jokingly said when I first came, I definitely did not quite understand it until you've lived it. You hear rivalries everywhere. I grew up in a rivalry state. And so, but this one's really special. The history, the people, the communities. It was really neat. We started there. My first experience was there. And so it was really neat to have those experiences where it means so much to your fan base, to your alumni, to your university, and you want to compete and do your best for your school.
2 of the terrific young women that you brought with you today, Delia Daniels and Lauren Schwartz, and 2 upperclassmen forwards who have meant a lot to this program. Can you just kind of tell us about each of them and what you expect from them and what they've worked on this offseason before we bring them up here?
Yes, it's my favorite thing to talk about them. So they're amazing young women leaders. They've done a wonderful job of, really setting the tone as our season began and helping us understand kind of what it's going to take from a preparation standpoint, physical standpoint. We have a theme this season called Dogfight, and it's about the fight for the mind, the body, and the soul. And they fight in all those ways all the time. And so they fight for the mind, the game, for the way we want to think through, the way we live our lives, the way we play, the way we work. They fight for the body, nutrition, sleep, everything that they do. They work really hard to be the best at. And then the soul for us is we over me. It's being selfless. And these are two of the most unselfish people you will ever meet. They work really hard for other people, and they're very good at what they do, but they will deflect to other people. And so it's what I love about them, and so a great day to brag on them and who they are.
Well,
Yeah.
they say the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, so I think they have a great example of doing all of those things in your head coach. Thank you so much,
Thank
Tina,
you
for
so
joining
much.
us, and as we welcome Lauren to